Parrsboro United Baptist Church. We thank God for your presence and invoke His blessing upon you as we share together in God's precious word. We began with a brief look at the book of James in the course of last Sunday, and we drew our attention to the fact that the faith we have in the Lord Jesus Christ is a victorious faith, a faith that transcends circumstances, situations of life, because we serve a God that is in control of the entire cosmos and has chosen us to actually relish on His goodness towards ourselves. We move on in the course of today to begin to show that victorious faith has an expression that it should bring out, because through that expression it speaks. I've shared with you how that Peggy and I normally have our evening night watching a Christian movie. She was working last night, so I watched it alone. But the story goes, or went like this. Here's a man whose little girl, a beautiful little thing, charming, joyful, was knocked down by a car, and the murderer did not even stop, went away. But he was spotted a few days later because the stuff that fell off the vehicle betrayed him. It was picked up and matched against a vehicle that had a dent, and it matched his. And he actually thought he had hit into something, but did not to stop to find out what it was. He had killed that little girl. He was not only going to face the courts, he was also going to face the fury of the family. But this man and this woman who had lost a child not only pardoned the runaway murderer, the hit-and-run murderer, but they went on, because he came from poverty-stricken area, to build him a house and to give him other needs. Who among us could do that? Somebody kills your child, you forgive them. You go on to attend to their poverty by building them a house and attending to other needs. Who of us could do that? And you ask the man, what's going on in your life? He says, I don't think it's me. There's somebody in whom I've come to believe who is working through me. As we sit together in the course of this morning, some of us know those people we can't dare look into the face. The very sight of them makes us sick. Will we pick a leaf from this family? You know, death is something, when it happens to us, it leaves a dent, or to use the language of another man, it will make us carry a grave within our hearts to the day we die. We know that. And as the man says, and his woman, we forgave, not that it took away the pain of the loss we had suffered, but because the God in whom we had believed worked through us. He did not completely answer all the questions of why did our little girl go, but who were we to question God? And the little girl would look on from above and see that we're dealing kindly with the family that were in need, and that her death had produced that, and she would smile, and that put a smile upon me. How many of us have a faith like that? And this is exactly what James is calling us to. That we live in a world, and we face situations that break our hearts, and more often than not, as we saw last week, we react to what happens. But he says, pause, not speedily, but that you may respond and reflect on the circumstances, so that your faith may come through and not your emotional outburst. I pray that as we share in this word together, we will all be touched by what James is calling us to, so that it will not be we expressing ourselves, but God expressing Himself through us. Because we are the people who are meant to bring God alive to those among whom we live. Will we obey God, or will we carry on with our emotional and personal and human outbursts? One of the verses we read in the course of last week is, the anger of man does not produce the righteousness of God. If then we will have this faith that actually expresses God as we carry ourselves about in this evil world, well, three directions that James brings us to. First, he says, we should be that people who have a faith not in ourselves, but in our God. What is the terminology he uses? I'll borrow my glasses at this moment and read that. Hold faith in our glorious Lord Jesus, which is only another way of saying, view all people from God's standpoint. Look at people as God would look at them. Develop a liking for all people. How can I do that? Long for their well-being, that it might be you who exercises kindness. For when our God creates faith in ourselves, into himself, he's actually saying, I've not been bad. This is what he's saying, rather. I've not been bad to you. I am good to you. I really should be angry with you and crush you. But no, I have crushed myself. For I've taken my own son to that cruel tree called the cross, and he has died like a criminal, that you who are the actual criminals may be cleansed and consecrated to God. This is what I've done for you. I have looked away from the bad side of you. I have looked at you and wanted to bring something good out of the bad. So that one who holds faith in the Lord Jesus Christ wants to adopt that kind of attitude. Will you be that person? To use the words of the Apostle Paul in 2 Corinthians in chapter 5, he says, we no longer view people from the human viewpoint. We don't want to look at and just say, that's John, that's Peter, that's James, and we only see the rottenness in them and say, no. We want to see that God, what God has placed in them, that makes them human, and that makes God have interest in them, so that we might have in people as much interest as God himself has. And that leads me to the second thought. If we view people from God's viewpoint, let's own the faith that shows us that the highest virtue that we have as human beings is the virtue of love. For it says, you love one another. Or better still, it says, you love your neighbor as you love yourself. Let's reiterate, as we saw last week, that James is writing to a people who are scattered amongst foreigners. So if you like, they know they belong to God. And as far as they know, the only people who are God's are they themselves. And those who emerge from the same nation as they themselves. The rest are Gentiles, foreign nations. And the best we can do is crush them. They know not the law of God, they obey not the law of God. And if they break the law of God, stone them. That's what they know. And yet he writes to them, you have a neighborhood that has nothing to do with the law of God. You have a neighborhood that is foreign to your laws. You have a neighborhood that is foreign to the kind of custom you've grown up in. You have a neighborhood that breaks your heart. He says, now there, love that neighborhood as you love yourself. You're not being called upon to love those who are of your blood relations only. those who are very sweet and kind to you. Enjoy those who are called human simply because they are human. In other words, appreciate humanity. What God has put into place, appreciate as coming from God. And if God has put it in place, enjoy that God has put it there. And not only do that, accept that, because love your neighbor as yourself. Let me put it this way. I don't know how many of us have quarreled with somebody when we are at the best of moods. Oh yeah, this is a nice one. No, you don't change like that. The moment we are happy, if whatever they are, that's the way they are. But it's when the mood is sour, even when somebody's good is coming our way, we can storm. We know that. But when we are happy, it's different. And this is what it's telling us. We need to learn to have a certain enjoyment of all humanity that we can say it's hard to make me angry with you. But we know that's the easiest thing to perform. I'm not happy with him. That one. Even when we know the name, when we are so angry, even the name escapes. That one, which one? That one. That one, it comes that one. We are like that. And James said, no, that's not the Christian faith I know. It's different. Think of how angry God would have been with you. And I would have just, with great ease, with a single word, gotten rid of you. But no, he appreciates you and he accepts you. And he adopts towards you a kind and caring attitude. An attitude that says, I don't want to do you any harm. I don't want to cause you any hurt. I don't want to cause you any disturbance. If anything, I'd rather inconvenience myself and disturb myself and hurt myself that it may be good for you. But we know this is not the culture in which you've been brought up. We've been taught to think about, think of yourself first. What is in it for me? What will I get out of it? This is the culture we've been brought up in, and this is what we grow up with. And so speaking like this is nonsense. But that is exactly what the Christian faith is, nonsense to those who don't know God. Because it only makes sense to God. We ourselves should be able to say, I don't know how I'm doing this. Because when you're doing it, and you're allowing God to do it, then you become a surprise to yourself. It can't be me, and it shouldn't be you. Because it should be an expression of the God. Faith is coming out of ourselves and going into God. So that now God becomes the expression that is coming through us to the onlooking world. Is there anything you admire in anyone? If you have appreciated them or accepted them, if you have adopted the kind of loving attitude, will you admire them? You see, God had nothing to admire in us. But he found something to make us admirable to him. He brought the nature of his Son to bear upon our lives. Go and take out their rottenness that you may put in your rightness. And so God says about us, touch not my anointed and do my prophets no harm. Burning and shining lamps. Rotten creatures like ourselves. God creating that. Can I have an attitude like that towards the people in my neighborhood? That's what the text is calling me to do. Here's our closing thought. If then we view others the way God views them, if then the virtue exercise the virtue of love, then let's go on and make our faith speak. Let faith verbalize itself through what we do. So let works speak. For does it not tell us in the word we have just read? If you obey only one command, but not the other, you have broken the whole commandment. In my numbering, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, up to about 10, we have the completeness of numbers. You can write any number up to trillions and trillion, just using those 1, 2, 3, 4, 0 up to 9, 1 up to 0, 10, because that's the number of completeness. And that is why those of us who think we can become Christians by what we do, let's face it again. Because if I do number 1, but I don't do number 9, the circle is incomplete. To complete the circle, I must obey 1 up to 10, not 1 up to 9. It must be everything. And as I've often said to us, who of us has not broken the 9th commandment? Because when we tell lies, we are bearing false witness. And we know how numerous our lies have been. Look at the way we dream. We can dream about our cooking, our thing, but when is that time we dream that God is everything to us? We have not honored God as well as we should have. And we can go tabulating how much we've broken the law. Therefore, even though the law, the work we do does not make us Christians, it reveals our Christianity. Because if then I am a Christian, I must now begin to carry myself out in the way that reveals that I belong to God. Is that the way we are carrying ourselves about? Well, we are to be commended. There are so many activities that demand our attention. But for us to give God attention, that's good. But we're not just Christians when we're in this building. We are Christians everywhere, 24/7. And the question is, am I a Christian at midnight when no one is watching, when I'm alone? One man says, you know what? I've been working as a fireman for a long time, and I've said so many right lies, and I'm a hero with everybody, except my wife. And somebody said to him, sir, if you're a hero with everybody except your wife, then you're no hero at all. For a man who is not a hero with his wife, he is no hero. How many of us can be praised by everybody else except our spouses? Those who see us, sunrise to sunset, sunset to sunrise. They should be the first to own the fact that there is a change in ourselves. There is a remarkable development in us. And if they don't own that, then there's something very grossly wrong. If our children do not stand up and say, yes, I can see your faith, where did I miss it? Where did you miss it? If our parents will not say, okay, I thought I knew it, but when I see it in your son, in your daughter, I realize there's something grossly missing here. What am I missing? Who is able to see that? What about our neighbors? All I'm saying, dear friends, therefore, is this, that for us to express a faith that works, let us begin to do extraordinary things in ordinary situations. I mean, here's a situation that I gave you at the beginning of a death. That is an ordinary, it happens. But look at the extraordinary response through which the parents reacted. And I'm told the entire town changed when they saw what had become of this man and woman, when they responded to their child's death. As you sit here, you know exactly who you don't get along with. Will you go out of this house today to go and approach them and give them a hot meal? And one is, what's become of you? Yes, I just thought of you, have a meal. Greet them nicely. Somebody has not spoken to, you give them a call. Who is this? This is, I don't want to talk to you. Just hold on. What's up to you? Everything's up to me, but just hold on. Who is it that has broken your heart? And you don't even want to sit next to them because they are so offensive that they stink. But you bear that stench and sit beside them and say, how are you today? Will they see that you are concerned about them? What about those neighbors, those friends, those relatives who have never heard us speak to Jesus about them, who have never heard us say a word concerning the Lord? Will we henceforth begin to say, Lord, give me an opportunity to speak to my neighbors the reality of Jesus' Son, that which means something to me? Surely I can't hold back from them. Help me find an opportunity to share that and to be burdened by that. Especially now that it's summer, we get so many visitors. And how many of us find that as a good excuse to be out of the house of prayer? Many of us, don't we? Just about 10 to 11, we have come. And hallelujah, my grand child has come. Church, stay. I'm preparing for them. And we'll be happy to entertain them. But what are we telling them? God is not so important as it should be. Couldn't we say, excuse me, for just this little hour, I'll be away and worship God, I'll be back. They'll take offense at it. And the next time, but eventually they'll be, that's their nature. Let them go to church. Go to church, you'll find us. Eventually say, let's go with you. What makes you go when we should be? But you see, we kind of get moved along by the world. How many of us find excuse? If I was teaching today and a part of the school system and the school was on, I'll easily say, today I'm working at 12, so I need to prepare early. I'm not coming to church. Very easy. And I said to in time past, dear friends, I wonder how many of us will be able to write to our employers and beg them, excuse me, on a Sunday I need to worship my God. What's become of you? Good, what? I say, yeah, if you're able to create that space for me, that would be helpful for me. Let's have those instances where we begin to show that for us, worshiping God is not a game. That's our life. God is above everything else. But there is so many instances in which everything else takes the upper hand and God is downgraded and our faith does shame our God. And so we wonder why people are not coming to our God, because they can't say our God take the preeminence in our lives that He should. Are we going henceforth to create that faith by which we will show that our God is number one? Oh, you are bringing strange things to our ears. Search the scriptures and see if these things are so. And let him who has an ear listen to what the Spirit is saying to this church. Yes. Our Father, we are thankful for your goodness to us that has brought your Son down, revealing to us the God who believes in himself and his abilities has willed to create out of humanity a people who will reflect him. And thank you for making us that people. Oh, we know, more often than not, we not only disowned you, but ill-represented you. But we pray, dear Father, that henceforth your word will minister to us in a way that will speak, and we own our victorious faith, and a faith through which you want to speak to the entire world. And we belong to you, and consequently have your attitude. For this is the victory we have, even our faith in the Lord Jesus Christ, who did teach us that in praying to you after this manner, we should pray. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation,
power,